Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Pit Against A Live, hosted by Colin Show. I'm William Table and Legs, joined by my constant co-host Kevin Smurph Murphy. Kevin, what's up?
Up.
Pit Against is a live Colin Show. If you'd like to be live on air talking to us about your hot take, join the Pit Against Discord by clicking on the link that's in the description. Then join the waiting room channel. Put your hot take in the topics text channel, and if we like to take a pull you on for our mic check and then pull you on air. Kevin, how have you been?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. I got to play some LL this weekend.
cool,
Went 6-0 with Prism, Awakener of Soul.
easy.
Yeah.
I had
But
to.
it was
Yeah.
that format's fun.
Format's interesting.
It is.
I'm
It's gonna be
actually,
real good next weekend.
I'm not like, I don't love the concept of life gain decks, and so I'm not like as excited about Oldham as I feel like I should be.
As much as I would expect you to be, yeah.
Yeah. I think my personal stance is like, especially at an event, which in an event I'm also going to include an armory. I
Sure.
don't want to play a deck that will go to time ever.
That can like consistently go to time, sure.
Consistently go to time, yeah. And so in that sense, I don't want to play Oldham. I also had to miss my skirmish,
Cool.
holiday reasons,
Mm,
holiday stuff.
yeah.
I'm also back in the grind of making more videos. But I have a question that was going around on the internet, and I think this is tangentially related because we're talking about, skirmishes are not, the biggest events in
Sure.
Flesh and Blood. Is it casual REL?
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, do you pull punches when playing against new players? So specifics of that being like, I'm not talking about takesies backsies.
Yeah. No, I will absolutely help new players through whatever mechanics they need.
Mm-hmm.
Um
I'm
I
very,
think we had an
yeah.
armory like a month or so ago where we had like a brand new player where they just had like the KO armory deck literally.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
Um and I had been playing Prism all night
Mm-hmm.
and I pair into him round 4.
Round 4.
And I'm like,
Okay.
I'm not playing Prism into him. I'm not gonna put him through Spectra. I'm not
This
gonna put
was,
him through Phantasm.
yeah, not the armory, or I mean, sorry, not the skirmish. This is a
Not at a
separate
skirmish.
armory. Yes.
This is like at an armory.
Mm-hmm.
Eh, I'll make a distinction like where I start and stop this later.
Sure.
But like
Yeah.
I change decks in the middle of an armory, which I normally wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love doing I don't like it when people really do that, like,
For
you bring a deck
stats
to an event.
reasons, you're not supposed to do it, right? Like LSS
Yes.
stats reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, like, this was an armory, it was his first armory that he was there. I wasn't gonna play Prism into him.
that makes sense.
There's no way to, like, make that user friendly.
I will say my 4th game ever was, maybe it was my 3rd game of CC ever, was Viscerai over webcam versus Prism when it was specifically doing the tome with t-shirt combo
Yeah,
or
Tome
whatever.
Vestige, yeah.
Tome Vestige. And this isn't like recent. This was obviously like just after Tales released. And
Yeah,
so it was that list. And it was, oh boy, I got to watch the game.
yeah. No, it's I I did that because, like, that is not gonna be a pleasant new player experience. But, like, I have had games in I specifically remember calling Indy 2023. Round 1, I sit down Icelander versus Fi,
Hmm.
and the guy tells me he's been playing for 2 weeks. And I'm very comfortable on Icelander.
Yeah.
And I know I pull my punches in that game. Like,
Hmm.
I just, like, let things go that I wouldn't let go that I would punish
Hmm.
otherwise. And I still win that game, like, comfortably. Like, I've for sure I know that in my skirmish, I was so far up in a game, I let a merciful trigger and a haze bending trigger not like, I just skipped them.
You just skipped them.
Yes,
Okay.
because I was so far ahead.
Hmm. So,
So,
I
like
mean, yeah, well, I'm going to bring it back and then let you finish.
yeah,
So the topic being, do you pull punches? Your answer is just yes, if
to
in
to
to a
I
degree.
To a degree,
Hmm.
yes. I have pulled my punches and I will pull my punches because it's like I don't want to the main thing is I don't want to overload players. I
Okay,
don't
that
want
makes
to
sense.
overload new players where it's like this is a ridiculous amount of information that they're taking in.
Hmm.
Especially it's like and it was like even Vincent was like because I switched from Prism to Vincent. That's still like not super like easy to get because it was also the first arcane hero that he played against. Like I
Okay.
literally gave him the null rune gloves out of my stuff to use for
What
to just give
what a
him.
saint. What a saint. You never
Like
no one can ever say you never did nothing for an armory. Go ahead.
but like I definitely like have pulled my punches in games where it's like I didn't ever like sandbag the game and give it to them,
Hmm.
but I would also like just not try and mess with them because I'm giving them 18 prism triggers on the stack. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like
Uh
that's not
so
that's not
um
how to introduce somebody to the game, but it's
I
like
guess that's fair.
I'm not going to throw the game.
Hmm. Well, that was going to be my next question was, I mean, you wouldn't throw a game
No.
for a new player.
No.
Let's say you're
Which is interesting because I'm gonna put an asterisk on that. I
okay.
have scooped games to get people into top 8s of events.
That's a little different.
It is different, but it's interesting that I
It's
wouldn't give
ironic.
somebody an armory game.
You're new. I guarantee won't let you win. Like I'm going to
I can
make
pull my
sure.
punches and still not let you win,
Yeah. I'm gonna do that,
but
but
I'm
I'm
gonna
scooping
scoop
it
my
this other
buddy into
guy.
top 8 of this PQ.
Completely legal and sound, fine. But I
Yeah,
think everyone listening understands that, and it makes sense. Your logic's there, right? Like there's a
the
reason for both.
context
They're
is relevant.
technically different. Context.
Yeah.
Um, so my answer to the question, and I was gonna look it up and find it, but I couldn't immediately find the tweet that was made about it. I know DM Armada weighed in on it.
Mhm.
Actually, no, I think I can. I just thought of a easier way for me to find it. But my answer to the question was very quickly. It was 0 to 60. 0 to 60 says you're in an armory and you get paired against a newish player, and you know it's a bad matchup for them. Do you take it easy on them or not? And I don't mean takesies, backsies, or helping, or coaching, or being nice.
Yeah.
Um, but more about optimizing plays. And my answer, I think, is always going to be I put them in the dirt. And
You treat them like a real player.
I treat them like a real player. I
Yeah.
treat them with how I would describe respect, um,
Yes.
in the sense that
As an opponent.
yeah, as an opponent, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, in the sense of the fact that Flesh and Blood is a community, maybe that's not my thought process. But I really like games like chess or
Yeah.
Go, or I've been playing Mahjong a lot lately. And
You
when I
like high skill,
yeah,
like very mentally intense games.
especially like well, I was about to say especially multiplayer 1v1 games, but I guess that's all games, isn't it? But what so
Good.
all yeah, all those games I just mentioned are 1v1 games where you sit down across your opponent. And I swear if I played chess for the first time and the first person I played against, like, just kind of goofed
Is
around or whatever, or
sure.
played some non-moves just to see what I do,
Oh,
um,
sure. Like,
that would kill me.
sure. Like, when I say I pull my punches, it's not that,
Mhm.
like, I'm just wasting stuff. I'm blocking
True.
9 on 6.
Yeah.
It's I don't completely stuff their turn with this one frostbite with Icelander, even though I know I could.
Mhm. Well, I feel
It's
like
I'm
yeah,
gonna send
yeah.
5 arcane and shave, like, 2 points of value because
Mhm.
I know I'm up 6.
So that specific scenario, let's say the first one, you have the opportunity to completely stuff their entire turn as Icelander.
Yeah.
That is a thing that will happen to them eventually should they play that
Sure.
matchup again.
Sure.
It should it be their first experience to the game, that would be rough,
Not
because it could set
necessarily.
expectations.
Yeah. So it's like
However,
if I'm
I I don't
if
know.
I'm so far up
Mhm,
that I don't need to,
mhm.
then I might not.
Yeah,
Like, if I need to do it to win the game, I'm gonna do it still because it's
yeah,
like that is part of the back and forth, and it's like, if
mhm.
we're having a game that's that competitive as well,
Yes.
sick.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
That makes
But I
sense.
also like against new players, I
Hmm.
wouldn't necessarily need to.
One of
'Cause, like,
my yeah, yeah.
I
One of
I
my
remember I think it was just like a side event in DC like a couple months ago. I played like Enigma versus Zen, and I was playing Enigma, and I would swing a mirror guy, and they'd block 8,
oh no.
and
Oh
I'm like,
no.
"What do I do?"
Oh no.
And the guy on like turn 2 says, "I'm sorry, I'm really new and I'm really nervous," and I'm like,
I'm so sorry.
"Oh, oh, you're blocking Enigma. I'm gonna beat you up." And, like, I can't pull my punches on that deck. It's
Yeah.
like I think, like, I might have a little bit, and it was just like I pitched away a second Mirror guy or something
Yeah,
to
yeah.
play a Phantasmaclasm,
Mhm.
which is somehow better, but, like, it was because he blocked 9 on Phantasmaclasm, and I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I
So,
it's a it's a weird
yeah.
thing, and I only do it after I'm, like, very, very
Mhm.
confident that I'm winning the game no matter what,
So
and
in
I'm just like,
my yeah, my first game of chess as an adult, which I do think is different and matters because I played a
"Yep,
little bit growing up, but my first game I was playing against a coworker at work. Uh we had a work board, so we were going to start playing semi regularly, at least once a week. Um we played a game of chess, and in the first game we played, he did very so kindly explain every one of his moves. I'm going to play this for this reason, trying to do this. I'm going to play this for this reason, and my goal is
uh-huh,
to try to do this. And he killed me on turn 4 with one of those fancy checkmates where I goofed up, and he just kind of. He's like, if you do that, I'll do this. And then I was like, brand new to the game and stubborn. And I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this. And then it's like, okay, but
uh-huh."
now I do this and it's checkmate. And I'm like, frick. Uh,
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and so like and then in the next games we played, I didn't lose on turn 4. I lost on turn 12, turn
Sure,
20. Or then eventually we have a game where you get to the mid game and then he beats me.
sure.
And
I
it was the first 50 games before I think I won one. Like it
yeah,
was a lot. Like he made sure that I didn't win a single game, and he definitely didn't hold back, and I appreciated that because I felt like I was there playing the game and
yes.
learning through playing as opposed to like I don't know. I just found the respect as an opponent
Yeah,
rewarding, and I also personally, I understand this is different for different people. I find it personally rewarding to learn things while losing.
yeah,
Not everyone's like that.
that's true.
Yes.
That is 100% true. I
Mhm.
would posit, though, that most of the times that I have pulled my punches,
Mhm.
my opponent had no idea.
I guess that's fair. Is
It
that
is a
is
lot less face up
Mhm.
in Flesh and Blood when you don't know what's going on than it is in chess where it's like,
True.
"I'm just going to not mate and one
Yeah. I
you."
I don't know. I think and
It
this is not
I
me
I
talking about
understand.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is not me talking about you. I could see
Yeah.
myself internally telling myself in the same situation, I could do this and it's
Oh,
worse.
I
But
will just pummel the shit out of somebody
yeah, I was just I
because
was
I'm playing the pummel.
yeah. Yeah.
But, like, it's okay, I didn't block with footsteps for 1
Mhm.
because it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do my thing, I'm gonna play my
Okay.
thing, it's whatever. But
I
if it's
yeah.
I'm gonna not pummel you because of whatever, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the pummel
You're gonna
because
play
that's
out
like
the cards and the
I'm
game.
going to play out all of my
Mhm.
cards. There's only one way to play pummel. Like,
True.
I can't help that.
Well, I mean, you could block with it. I've seen that it has a block
I
value.
that
But
would be,
but I
like,
know what you
too
mean.
much, but it's like, that's probably, like, too much,
Mhm.
unless it's just, like, 8 dominate and it's killing them and you're not gonna play the pummel to not show it to them and make them feel worse. Sure.
I think it's an
But, like,
interesting, like, thought experiment in general, and I don't really feel like any answer is wrong if you can defend it well enough.
sure.
Personally, I know some people will be like, "William, you don't pull any punches, like, at all."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, because I respect my opponent even if they're brand new." And I think
Yeah.
showing that respect is important. I would think it's important, but also at the same time,
Yes.
I can see why some people might not like that. I think though I am in agreement. I think everyone kind of is that, like, in general. I say everyone. I think in general, is if you're guiding your opponent through the game, I mean that's the minimum you should be doing, right? Like
Yeah.
being
Helping them
helpful.
out with the basics and stuff like that. Like, not
They've
like,
seen
"Oh,
me
do
play an
this
attack.
instead of the."
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've seen me play an attack with a pommel. I am presenting
Yes.
attack. I have 2 floating, a card in hand. I tell them I have 2 floating. I tell them I have a card in hand. I don't have to give up that information. I go through my graveyard,
Graveyard.
and I find the pummel, and I'm like, I have more of these in and I point it out. I'm like, this does
Yeah.
cost 2. And then they go, do you have more of those in your deck? And I go, well, I could.
Maybe. Yeah.
Implication.
Yeah.
Um,
Not that there's much they can really do about it at that point. They're a new player. They're not arsenaling their D-React
mhm.
to deal with your pummel. But, like,
But they could, like, block in a way where pummel blows
sure,
them out, and now they're not gonna do that.
sure. But,
Um,
like, they're still behind because you have a pummel and you're
yeah,
gonna pummel.
yeah.
Like, so,
I
like,
don't know,
you're
there's
pulling your
ways.
punches a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
in that you're not just gonna let them get blown out by
yeah.
pummel.
I'm guiding them through the game, but I'm gonna play all of my game actions correctly.
Sure.
I'm gonna play optimally.
I
That's
I I think,
mhm,
like, it's to do that to, like, pull your punches respectfully, it has to be more subtle, and it has to
mhm.
be, like, smaller things that they're not going to notice
I think if it's
because
just
they're
if
new.
it's super face up, like, that
Yeah,
can be feels bad. Um,
yeah.
I don't know, because
Oh,
I think as a new player, my initial opinion would be I would want to feel respected as a player, but
yeah.
also not just be
Curb stomp.
dismissed like completely through the game. Like I want to play the game, feel what the game feels like, and
Yeah.
yeah, not get curb stomped. Want to play a second game.
Yes.
um, I think we kind of covered that. Do you want to go on to our first caller of the night?
Sure, I'll go grab her.
Our constant caller.
Yup.
Whoa, it's just my face and it's really big, and it's on Kevin's side of the screen. If you want to call in and give us your hot take, you can go click on the link in the description to go to the Pit Against Discord channel, where you can put your take in the call-in topics like Allison has, kind of, and we'll have Kevin make sure your mic works. No, I mean it's fine. It literally took me a minute to like figure out what you were trying to say, and also I think cues from Kevin. Kevin was like, and I was like, oh yeah, wait, I do know. Okay, so caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's me, Captive Goat, sometimes referred to as Goat, sometimes referred to as Allison from Harrisonburg, Virginia.
The goat.
That's
Uh,
me.
what would you like to talk about on the show?
Well, I just want to send a
Okay.
message directly to LSS, which is say his name. Holy crap. We got through this
Emphasis on the
entire
pause.
year wrap up, and they're like, oh my God, you know who I think really is going to have a place? They even said the word payoff. They're like, Verdance, she's going to have a payoff. Don't worry. The support's coming. And then you know what else they did? They were like, oh, we got expansion slots coming. You know who we're going to fix? Bolton. He's getting another
Constantly.
expansion slot card. This is the one that's going to do it. For real, guys. Don't worry. It's not going to do it. Bolton's never going to. Bolton is fundamentally bad, just like me.
What?
But just say his name, Olympia. You can just say it. You get through the heavy hitter section, they're like, wow, Kasai really did something. And you're right, she did for all of 12 seconds. They're like, you know who really took the championship, though? It was KO. And, KO's kind of cool. He sounds
That's
like
cool.
Kano, but he's more green,
Mm,
missing an arm. But, like,
true.
all they're like, wow, heavy hitters really put out some limited powerhouse play. and they're talking about all these things, and they're talking about the power level of MST, and they're talking about the payoff for Verdance. Don't worry, it's coming. They didn't even say his name.
Ring
They
around
don't
the
even
roses.
know he exists. You know who else they don't know
said
exists?
They said Verdance's specialization name.
Right, but they also said, don't worry, the payoff for her is coming.
Mhm.
Believe me, I know. I've replayed it like 14 times. I have like Verdance-based PTSD. I see a tree and I freak out.
Holy frick. Okay, okay, so a little bit of context. Today we had a dev talk number 10?
Yeah,
Yep.
10.
Well, how thematic. A wrap up for the year where they talked about, the 5th year of Flesh and Blood and how it felt. And Allison, you're upset they didn't say the word Olympia?
Yeah.
I believe that.
I just want them to be real. I just want them
Okay.
to be real.
Uh-huh. Did they say
Like-
Betsy?
No. I hate that I have to share something in common with Guardian, but it's just that we're both forgotten. And in reality, they were just like side thoughts. They're like,
Mhm.
we need people who interact with limited, and sure, whatever, they can be constructed heroes because they won't do anything. What does it matter? We'll fix it later, right, guys?
Mhm.
But they're not going to fix it later. We're going to get the 14,000 Bolton card that doesn't do anything.
I think it was
War cry of Bologna.
baloney.
Yeah.
I think it was Arsenal Pass that had a video recently where they were talking about they didn't understand why Betsy and Olympia had adult heroes.
I agree, 100%.
I believe I think that's basically how they were describing it. They were like, okay, so they're here for limited. So why do they have adult heroes?
Yep.
Which I don't know. I think having them as adult heroes makes the game interesting, at least at the armory level.
Certainly makes my life interesting.
I didn't. I think I'm gonna start with Allison is a local of mine, and I didn't realize just like how much. Like I knew you were pro Warrior. I didn't realize how much you were pro Olympia specifically. Like I knew you liked Olympia, but I thought it was more of like I enjoyed the class, not necessarily this particular hero.
I mean, he's not my very favorite. I will always be
Mhm.
a Kasai fangirl, but I'm also mad
Mhm.
about her. I got more hot takes all out the wazoo for her. Like, the only reason we don't have her original version is because they needed her to interact with gold for the coming limited set. And so they were like, what we're going to do is we're going to split her into basically 2 different cash piles where she can't interact with herself. Like, you're like, man, I got to use copper or I got to use gold, but you can't use both. Well, you can try, but it's bad. It's hard. And you're like, okay, well, we're gonna try to make all this work, and it doesn't. It doesn't. Why can't we just get the Ira treatment? That's all I want. I just want
Does
to.
Ira work?
Yeah, Ira
I mean,
works.
Like Ira as an adult is the same
Mhm.
as the young hero that we got.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
So
there's Kasai
yeah.
Centauri Sellsword. And then there's young Kasai and Kasai of the Golden Sands. Is
Yeah,
that it?
yeah.
Yes.
Golden Sands.
Well,
Yeah.
I think having a bronze build and having a gold build is interesting, and I think it's cool that the character can like, I don't know, choose different international currencies or whatever they want to do. You have the European Kasai versus the American Kasai, however you want
Spoken
to
like
define the
somebody who
percentage.
doesn't play Kasai.
True, exactly. So I think that's interesting. However, I what is good? When do we feel confident about a particular deck or build of a hero? Why does Olympia feel in the dumps more than Verdance? More than Florian?
Because he has a blank hero text box, there is basically nothing Olympia does that any other warrior doesn't just do better. Because they have real text box. His text box is get some gold, and you're like, man, okay,
And
I got the gold.
we don't have great gold payoffs.
Yeah. You're like, I'm gonna go to the anvil, but the anvil costs me an action point, and
That does do
then
that.
I gotta go get all these things. And then also all those things don't come out of your graveyard, which is infuriating.
Wait,
That
I
like
got an
assassin
idea.
can pull things out of their graveyard, but like you have to sacrifice all like a ton of sideboard slots to get additional equipment. It's infuriating.
We make for the next set, the Fable is a gym that at the last moment we downgrade to a Majestic and put in the expansion slot. And let's say what it does is it's like an item that sits on the field, and your visit the gold mains, or no, not visit. It's visit the
Golden Anvil.
golden anvils can be played at instant speed.
You know, I love that. I love the Bolton reference in there. That what we need for Warrior is just to constantly make legendaries that go in your deck that are a one of, so that the rest of your deck might pretend to function. Thanks, buddy.
So what I guess what I'm saying is, what do we want LSS to what do you want LSS to do?
You know, I want one thing, and I want to find. I recently was listening to one of the podcasts where they were talking to Brian, and he was talking that he talks to people at events, and now I understand. I can find him, and I can ask him the one question I want to ask Brian.
Oh no.
I just want to say,
oh no.
Is there anyone who has any hand in the development process, specifically regarding the rules and player experience, not the artists, who loves Warrior? Like, is Warrior the punishment class? When a dev has been bad, do they get sent to a back room and they don't get to come out until they crank out 4 more 3-for-1 reactions for Warrior? Is that what happens? I just want to know.
I think it is okay. So one thing I do think is interesting, this is a little off topic, is I feel like these decks, as they've been sitting in the lower tiers longer and longer, and they get more expansion slots, it feels like their decks become more and more saturated with Majestic cards. And maybe I'm wrong with that, in that it's like every deck right now is kind of doing that. But it feels like eventually there's going to be a point where there's like, it's Olympia has a deck and it works. It just happens to have 7 legendaries, and the rest of the deck is are Majestics. Like, there's nothing under Majestic tier in the deck because they needed all of these buffs, and then all of these buffs are just above rate Majestics. Like, pushed Majestics is just like the whole deck.
I mean, that's just going to be Flesh and Blood soon.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like, that might be other classes in Flesh and Blood, but not in Warrior. Like, have you seen our Majestics? They aren't great.
I guess.
Like,
well,
you're like, hey there, Prayer of Bologna. I wish you weren't just a trap. Hey there, Beckoning Light. I wish you weren't just a trap. Hey there, Spirit of War. Hey there, what is it? Scatter, the 2-handed weapons. You can sacrifice all the damage on your weapon to blow up a defending item reaction.
Oh yeah.
Or how about the yellow 2 cost for +2, and look at the top card. If it's a reaction, you can play it. I forget what it's called. It's really bad.
Unified Decree?
Yeah, Unified Decree. That's what it is.
I think it's Kevin, 1 cost, but yeah.
Kevin, you were. I thought that was an interesting answer to my statement, which you said Flesh and Blood's moving that way.
Sure, like as your card pool gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're not rotating sets, you're only rotating heroes, which means you're only rotating specializations. The card pool is just going to have more and more Majestics in it.
Sure.
And the Majestics are your most powerful cards.
I feel like certain heroes have cards they just, like, commons they want.
Sure.
Right?
So I'm going to guess here that Ninja is one of those.
Yeah.
Where they're very they need to run some of their commons, because they're just like, for them to function. Like Fi has to run 9 Draconic Head Jab because it needs to, and they're all commons. But like, you look at like Enigma, and it's the common Transcend, Sacred Art, and a lot of Majestics, and they're starting to be generic. It's Weakest Link, Phantasmaclasm, E-Strike, CNC, Miraging Metamorph, and then Restless Coalescence, Mirror Guy, Levels of Enlightenment.
Whatever that D-React is with Victor on it.
That all you got.
Yeah. Dude, I want
I'll
the
say-
playmat for that. Frick, I didn't get to go to a skirmish. Holy cow, I want that playmat.
I got one if you want it.
Oh, do you do?
Yeah.
I would trade you something
Sure.
later.
We can talk about it later.
We can talk. We talk. We
Oh.
talk.
Yeah, but like I mean, this is just like that's the way the game is going to go. You keep printing majestic power level cards,
Mhm.
and they're going to be good. And like the reason you haven't seen a majestic replace Sink Below is because they don't want to print a card better than Sink Below.
Sink Below is the
Otherwise,
pushed majestic.
yeah, Sink Below is a majestic level card. Honestly,
Yeah.
like we've seen the majestic
true.
D-React we got in Mistveil was a
Yeah.
blue unmovable,
Yeah.
like Mystic Upside.
Mystic Upside.
Like we got Flicker
Oh.
Trick
Mm-hmm.
in
Flicker
I don't even
Trick.
remember what set it came out of. I think it was Dust Till
Dust Till
Dawn that it came
Dawn?
out in. But it's like a 0 for 5 with like downside. And it's like you can run it in very specific metas.
0 for 5 D react with Phantasm, kinda.
Yeah, with effective Phantasm. Like, and then there's just Sink Below at common.
Yeah.
Like it.
So it's all the decks are just going to be pushed majestics and synergistic commons or rares.
Yes, you're going to see like.
Is that fine? That's fine, right?
I mean, like to a degree, but like you have to be really careful about like what you're putting in these decks. Like if you look at new as well right now, it's like there's like 4 sets of majestics from Mistveil, and then
Mhm.
it's like taking a bunch of the old majestics from Dynasty, like Leave No Witnesses and Surgical, and then like yeah, it's running CYB.
I guess
which
what
is
you
a rare
don't
site.
want is Betsy and Bravo to have basically the same deck minus specializations.
Yeah,
Which is kind of
That's
what they
that
are
is a
right now.
concern, but that's like something they needed to address in hero design,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, yeah, Florian is getting a lot of upside from Decompose, and that's what's going to make him different from like a Crown of Seeds Briar
Mm-hmm.
in LL, or like Aurora needs her own thing for Lightning that like makes her that also separates her from Briar. But it's like, and Dromai is going to run her set of dragons that are
Mhm.
all rares, but she's always going to do that.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
So
it's weird, but I do think you're going to see majestic usage trend upwards as the game gets older. It's just
Mhm.
whether or not it's going to taper, where it's going to taper off for each deck.
True.
That is the kind of question.
My Jarl deck, I think, has 3 commons in it.
Yeah, Jarl is going to have almost no commons, and it's going to be Sink Below and Pummel.
Because Mangle was already a majestic.
Yeah, Mangle's a
that is-
majestic that
and
you
that
just got a
is-
reprint of.
Mangle is kind of his synergistic comment, but it was already a majestic.
Yeah, they just reprinted the shit out of it with Armory decks.
Yeah.
Where if you're playing Jarl, you have the
Mhm.
Armory deck, so you just got your playsetable commons.
I enjoy that
Is
tangent.
Mangle
I don't
at
know.
common now?
No.
No, it's just effectively a common
Okay.
because it's so easy to get.
Yeah, it's super cheap and easy to get now.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Sink Below. Anyways,
Sure.
that was I like that tangent, but going back to Olympia for a little bit,
Or even just underpowered warriors.
Mhm.
You know what's super frustrating? I went on a rant on this on the warrior chat like a month ago, but it holds true.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
every time they talk about warriors, they're like, "Hey, you know what? You know what? These things are way too powerful." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "In our dev spaces, Bolton was the best deck in the entire format. So we had to tune them back." And I'm like, "What are you just release that. Give me the Zen treatment. Let me be on top for like a month, then start banning my cards." Like
I think
I feel like with Warrior, they're like, we're too afraid to make Warrior ever good. And so instead, we just have like all these Warrior decks just like languishing in D tier, where they're like, and this season, I got 0.5 of an LL point in 38,000 years, LL.
I was gonna say that whenever we talk about this kind of stuff, it always reminds me of a quote from James White where that I think stuck with me for whatever reason, because I think I just didn't get it, and I think I still kind of don't. Which was, he was like, the problem with Bolton is stockpiling action points like he can with his hero ability is maybe one of the most powerful things you can do in the game. But the way he does it is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, if
But-
it was like how Dash does it, where she generates action points by ripping them off the top of her deck. Like, what if every time it said, what's it called? Where he, like, imbues soul or whatever. Charge. That's the word. What if charge soul meant take a card?
Got imbue, but
Imbue.
not charge.
Oh my gosh. What if instead of charge soul, reading that you take a card out of your hand or whatever, what if it was you pull it off the top of your deck? Like, that's just infinitely better.
Yep.
It's actually super insane. And so, like,
that's kind of insane.
Yeah. And okay, sure, James White, at that point, I get it. Yes, that could be a problem. But that's not how he does it. Cards have value in hand. And it's funny because, like, in my perspective, in my games, I feel like Bolton kind of can have a problem with fatigue from Guardians.
Sure.
Which the point of amassing action points is to use them later all in one turn for a big advantage, which would be effectively much stronger in a deck that doesn't present, high value damage turnover turn like a Guardian. So it should be good into Guardians. And then I find personally that Bolton is not super good into Guardians, despite his biggest upside to this broken mechanic, according to James White, is not great.
Into Guardian or into Bolton on Guardian, then you probably should.
Oh, do I?
Most
Oh.
Bolton see Guardian as a good matchup for Bolton.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, that's why I like to preface that a lot with "in my findings," because I'm not on a testing team, and I don't get to play against the best players in the world regularly. Only one of them.
Shout out to Diana Green, best player in whole of Virginia. Skirmish season 10 victor.
Diana Green cosplayer.
Best Terra world.
Honestly, though,
true.
Terra LL points. Is that the first LL points for Terra? No,
I think he got some last season.
Still though,
but yeah.
I believe she's the 5th person. I think he's up to 25 now.
That's actually really good.
I think she would be the 3rd because they got their points doubled, but yeah.
Okay.
I'd believe that. So the question I was going to present is warrior class like Reinar or Teklevossen in the sense of if they're the best deck, it's a problem, right? I don't hear it as much about Teklevossen, but it's obviously true. If Teklevossen was the best deck, or if Reinar was the best deck, this game would feel terrible. If Reinar was the best deck, like it won through Intimidate,
that would be a problem.
That would be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
Is Warrior like that? Is Warrior a problem if it's the best deck?
No.
I don't think so, right?
Yeah, it's not. But also, like, problem best decks have been the best decks before. Like, it has happened. We've made it through. We've all lived through Oldham. Like, we did it.
Yeah. That doesn't mean we want to go back. That doesn't saying a problem best deck was best deck. It's still a problem.
Well, yeah, it's still a problem, but it doesn't mean that like it's the end of the world and we can't like let that deck have its day for like 20 seconds. Like it's just really frustrating to be like, hey, LSS, can we do something? And LSS is like, no, you're crazy good in testing. Psych. Here's your garbage cards, so you're not good in real life. Like it drives me crazy.
Yeah. I think Reinar, Teklevossen, and Oldham are kind of great as like 3rd best deck, in my opinion. Yes. Where they get their LL points specifically. Because when Oldham wasn't the best deck, or he was losing to another the best deck but was still really good, I think that was kind of fine. That wasn't awful. But that's all unrelated to the point of I don't think Warrior would be a problem if it was the best deck, So if LSS gave Warrior a meta,
Not
not to say that LSS like crafts the meta specifically, but
Yeah.
if suddenly if all of the best decks currently dropped away and Warrior was the best deck, like Dory was the best deck, it wouldn't be a problem. I don't
Yeah.
think.
And Dory's highly, highly techable for as well. Like
Yes.
you bring, plus 3D reacts, and Dory's like, well, I guess I'll
Yeah.
die.
Your matchup moves at least 10 points on like 3 sideboard cards that you're going to see consistently and are going to do things consistently for you.
Yeah.
Bolton kind of similar. Bolton's weird on that just because like Sabers and Lumina is a thing where I think that is something they do have to be a little I am okay with them being careful with that one. Um
that one
Kasai
could be
is
a
like
problem.
the same as Kasai is not the same as like Kasai and Hatchet Dory are the same in which they're stat checks, but they're healthy stat checks.
Yeah.
And then Olympia is just like a step down from them and he needs something else. But like I don't think I I would not enjoy a meta that is dominated by Bolton because if it's dominated by Bolton, it's dominated by combo Bolton.
Yeah, I think currently, right?
That
There's
yes,
Raiden
if you were
Bolton.
to take current mechanics.
Raiden
Yeah.
Bolton's real.
It
It
is
is,
it
but
is
like
real, but like there's a lot he's got to go through before that deck is the best deck, right?
that
I
is
think less than
my guess.
combo Bolton, but
Really.
I mean, Annie and
I
I
think
will fight about it, but
I think
Sure.
combo Bolton is less cards and less decks stripped from the meta from being the best deck than aggro Bolton. Probably.
I think so.
I mean, last meta, while we were still dealing with MST, Bolton was the only one who had a chance because like Raiden Bolton was the only thing that could do anything. Like
Yeah.
Raiden Bolton's been real, whereas aggro Bolton hasn't, or combo Bolton hasn't been real in a while, like
Not
2
since
years.
heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Not since
I
kind of in
think the
heavy
main
hitters.
thing is I'm thinking from the perspective of Warrior class being the like a deck in Warrior class being the best deck, like tier 1 deck. Whereas I don't think Bolton was tier 1 when it was the best Bolton deck.
No.
It still wasn't tier
Nope.
1.
Bolton at no point in any part of this game's ever been tier 1 or even
I don't
A.
think so.
I've heard in Britain, combo Bolton was pretty good for a while there.
They were just learning the game.
Around
Yeah, it was
Everfest? Something
yeah,
like
that was people learning the game.
Pre-Everfest, yeah.
Pre-Everfest.
Yeah, I think it was right before Everfest. It'd have to be. Everything changed when the Fire Nation. Anyway, speaking of Fire Nation, we're getting Fang. If we get Fang cards and Majestics, and we're like, dear heavens, LSS, have you learned nothing from Zen? And he is the most disgusting warrior you've ever seen. Are you riding that train? You on the Fang train?
Yeah, I mean, he's a warrior. I'm going to
Crazy.
play him.
Fair.
Are you gonna be upset if he's tier 1? Sounded dismissive.
So, you might not know this. Kevin certainly knows this. I'm a hipster. And so, like, while I will be here and until the day I die, complain about my class being bad, the second it's good, I'll stop playing it. Like, I played Azalea, and then it got good, and I stopped. I played...
You played Outsiders Azalea for one event, and then it dropped.
Yeah, and sold it all because I was like, okay, everyone's doing this. I can't.
Yep.
Warrior players are hipsters.
It's true. We're disgusting.
That's the problem. And LSS is scared to say that.
Well, they got to ship us off somewhere, so. But I mean, even if Fang's good, I'll play him.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't think I'll have to worry about that because insofar as I can tell so far, balancing those fealty tokens is gonna get us killed.
Yeah, that seems like a way that they're gonna like kind of control those two heroes.
Yeah.
Fealty looks good though.
It's neat.
It's neat.
It's a nice little balancing thing they've done with it.
Limited's
So.
going to be awesome.
But I think you'll find when we get to the Hunted, I will make the same exact criticism of it that I did for Heavy Hitters, where I'm like, Warrior feels like the afterthought of this set. Whereas I think they were sitting down and they're like, we want to make a dagger set. All right, assassins and ninjas, our favorite classes that don't start with an I. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna make a set all around your cool daggers. Huh. Well, assassins versus ninjas alone isn't interesting enough. What we need is a punching bag. And Warrior was like, I have a single dagger, and they're like, you also have a single hit point. Get in this meta, you're gonna die. So
Quicksilver dagger.
QSC.
I think you should feel loved, at least in the sense that you know that they were thinking of you.
In the same way, like your stalker's thinking of you or your serial killer is thinking of you, they are definitely thinking of us.
That's flattering.
Well, yeah.
So I think I don't know. I don't know where we land on this, right? So like
We'll
we'll see how the Hunted goes. I think that's definitely
Yep.
our best chance to see, a great warrior.
They get to
But
play Draconic cards. They get to play Blaze Headlong.
your favorite warrior
Blaze
card.
Hedgehog.
Just good cards that
Yeah.
they haven't had before.
True.
Good
Yeah.
reds.
Good cards.
Good reds.
Yeah, I mean, I got my Blaze Headlongs ready to go. I got my
Mhm.
Thaws ready to go. I got
Mm.
some Draconic books ready to go. The only book they let us keep. It's gonna be so funny. He's gonna be good with the book, and then like a week after, they're gonna be like, oh, like warning klaxons going off. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. A warrior's good, and they just ban the book. They're like, get the hell out of here, Fang. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna just go insane in Fang chat. I'm gonna lose it.
Is there warrior attack reactions that just say target attack? Like, can you buff with your reactions?
Yes.
The heavy hitters ones.
Yeah, the heavy hitters ones, but only
Okay.
the fatal engagement out of heavy hitters.
I thought agile engagement and vigorous engagement could.
Maybe vigorous.
Cut the deck
and-
targets warrior attacks.
Yeah.
But
They
I
might
guess
have been like warrior.
Yeah.
Those
they
might
put-
be like warrior attacks only.
Yeah,
Okay,
those ones
warrior
target
attack.
warrior attacks.
I was wondering
Okay.
if there's like old draconic cards that could mix with warrior cards in that sense, right? So like you use a warrior attack reaction on Thaw. That would be funny.
Yeah, the one you're
Sure.
looking for is called fatal engagement.
Yeah.
I guess Jagged Edge also says weapon attack. Never mind. The funniness is gone.
So you can do things like route trick if you want to
Mhm.
combine that. But, it has to be a really important on hit for you to want to do route tricking onto an attack.
Does route work on an attack?
Kind of.
You target
the
weapon
effect.
attack before, and then it
Uh-huh.
reprise triggers the current one.
Yeah.
This chain link. Yep. You could just
Okay.
do target weapon attack and then also
Yeah.
So as
return
long as
a
you don't
card
break the
this
chain.
link.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they blocked the weapon chain link from hand.
No, it's the current. It checks the current chain.
It's the current one. Okay.
Yeah.
If the defending hero is defended with a card from their hand, this chain link.
This chain link. Sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's the same way you get off the pummel.
The singing pummel. Yeah.
Singing pummel
yeah.
trick in Dory.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's full of really cool, interesting interactions, but still not cool enough.
Well, here's to Warrior in the future. I hope it all works out.
Me too.
I think LSS definitely have Warrior in mind. They seem to put them in as many draft sets as they can. So and expansion slots. I don't know.
That's a 2024 take.
That's a 2024 take. Well, here we are in 2024. I guess that's it. Thanks for the call. Is there anything else you want to shout out?
Just shout out to Warrior Chat. The homies in Kasai Chat specifically in Purple Chat are the real ones. It's the best chat. If you want to ever come hang out, talk Warrior stuff, or just shoot the shit and talk about cats, that's where we do it.
Based. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll catch you next time.
Sure thing. Love y'all. Bye.
Thank you so much for coming on. Have you read Warrior Chat, Kevin?
Nope.
Bro, I've read it a few times.
I've only seen the pieces that Allison sends.
When they're focused on Warrior, it's unhinged. When they're not focused on Warrior, it's often. So
Okay.
all right, let's see. Do you want to talk about something else? We
You
have
got a quick one?
we talk about gym packs.
We can do a quick one on that probably.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be pretty much on the same page.
So Dev Talk came out.
Yep.
And it's kind of been the motif of what we've been talking about a little bit since that last call. And a part of it, and an announcement they made alongside of it, they made a retailer announcement and just a regular announcement, was they were talking about, instead of doing promos starting date, they would February. Okay. That's like 2 months out.
Roughly, yeah.
Instead of doing promos, stop me where I get this wrong. Instead of doing promo cards, rainbow foils and cold foils, we'll be getting booster packs of promos.
So it's one. They've given us the contents of the packs, which is one non-foil card, one art card, and one what they're calling premium foil, which is rainbow foil, cold foil, or Marvel.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So there's 3 in the pack, and then
I like a judge pack.
Similar,
Judge packs
yeah.
are 3 cards, right?
I think so, because it's like the proclamation, the chivalry, and the actual card is like the way they did the last season.
Regular print, premium foil, art card. Okay. Art card? That's interesting.
Like
That's just going to
the
be
Rosetta ones.
Okay. Oh,
I
okay.
assume.
Okay. So that's I don't hate that location. I think I said in a different
That's
thing.
where I would want art cards.
Yeah, I think I made a take one time where I was like, I think we could have, or it was something like, if there were no art cards, could we have had an extra card slot in the draft? Which I don't think is going to happen in the Hunted, even though we're moving our art cards to this.
Probably
but
not.
I think the concept of art cards are really interesting, right? Like
it's nifty.
I like them from especially a new or a more casual player perspective. It is another way to interact with and engage with the game. We found, especially like the first few weeks of Rosetta, there was a ton of trading, and it wasn't necessarily even cards after a draft. It was those. It was like, oh my gosh, you pulled Verdance's feet. And so
some people are using certain.
Oh no.
Like, I know on stream, I think it was Geneva or something, where people were using just all of the backs of their equipment was Verdance's feet, and so then it would flip over to their equipment. But then, like, I know a fair number of people who have collected all of the 3x3s for the 4 heroes. So, like, if this is where they want to do art cards instead of in a booster set, I'm cool with that. That's fine.
Yeah. I think that's neat.
Yeah. I think it's boxes of 50 of these packs go out to stores based on attendance. And then there's 2 waves of this that they get each season, which a season is the time between set releases. So about 4 months. So with 1 box each wave, it's about 6 of these gem packs per week for the season per store, which is fine. That's not bad. That's
Yeah.
honestly probably less than participation at most. That is at average participation in most places, I would think.
Hmm.
I would. I think there's only one armory a week where I might not get one for participation at the moment.
Do you think they just double up on those stores, I guess? Or
Most likely, I think they want this to be a participation thing, and not a top six get it and seventh and eighth don't.
hmm
That would surprise me a lot if they didn't want that. Um, Specifically because they talked about this, where it's like they want this to be just like your participation thing,
hmm
and they want to even this out and make armories a little bit less competitive, which is fine. That's a way they can do it. But they also said at the end of the day, this is up to stores and how they want to run it, which
hmm
means this is actually up to the stores and their players
can be
because it,
used, yeah, can be used for performance-based pricing, participation, or random prize draws.
yeah,
Um, I think,
I think any
yeah.
place that's like only got that has more than whatever they've allocated per week, essentially,
hmm
they're going to do it random. Is that they're either going to be random or performance based, where it's like top six gets it,
hmm
or random six gets it out of 8 or 10 or whatever.
I do
Um,
have some good news, and I did just look it up. Of the 4 hero arts that I have seen already for the next set, all of them have shoes on or their feet are off screen, um,
sure.
which I think is important. Uh, so um,
Um,
I guess so. The point of, I don't want to say contention. The point of conversation that me and you had, me and you, and you know what, we were just talking about Diana. We'll bring Diana back up again,
yeah,
along with other people. We were talking about, what would be the best way. I mean, it's going to be up to the LGS ultimately,
yep.
probably, and their players together. But what would be the best way to like efficiently
Distribute
distribute these to where everyone feels
reward
good
or
about
whatever.
it, because
Yeah,
it works on the point of the promos are like twofold, right? It is incentive for participation, it is
yep.
incentive for performance. At least when you look at the old promos, right, you had cold foils, which
For
typically were
winning.
handed out for winning, and
Yep.
your rainbow foils, which were handed out for showing up.
Participation. Yep.
Yeah.
And you had varying quality on
hmm
both of those,
yes.
where you had some months where you didn't care about either.
Yeah.
You had some months where the rainbow foils were good, but the cold foils weren't, or vice versa.
hmm
Then you had some months like last month, not last month, the month before, the Florian
hmm
month, where it's Rootbound Carapace, EA, Rainbow Foil, and Arcane Seeds Life, and all those are crazy value. Like your participation promo was $10 that you could get value on it,
that's crazy.
which is great.
hmm
I don't expect them all to be $10 by any means, but
It
like
probably
when those
shouldn't
months
be.
happen, it
Yeah.
feels really good as a
Yeah.
player to show up and get that as participation. And then the Arcane Seeds Life have dropped off like reasonably quickly. I think they're
Mhm.
actually like the same price now as Red Rootbound. But like it was still a nice little incentive for doing well.
Mhm. I will
Um,
say, as a Guardian main, I almost never get red promo cards because you get your promos at the end of the event. My games ended last. You'll get your promos as you walk up to the counter and you get your prize
yeah,
packs. And so all the red promos were gone. And that's
sure.
fine. I don't care about promos, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, I can take yellow root bound carapace. I guess it's played. Um
That was still a $5 promo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was.
I think one of the things that like my LGSs do that I like is they
Mhm.
will go around in the middle of one of the rounds and just hand out the participation promos.
Oh, they just hand
Just
them
like
out? That's kinda
yeah,
nice.
which is
Especially, if there's
neat.
enough to go around, right?
Yeah.
Or at least, like, they come in different colors. I guess they could randomize them if they wanted to.
Some I know some places will randomize them.
Mhm.
They let us choose usually which color we want until that color's gone.
Mhm.
Which this also does alleviate. Some people didn't like, oh, I had to miss the first 2 weeks of armories. Now the reds are all gone.
Makes sense.
Which, like, sure, I understand that being some not feels good
Yeah. Yeah,
or it
okay,
feels
so
bad.
yeah, going
Like
going back to
this does
packs. Yeah.
alleviate that a little bit.
Um, I think another thing it does, and I thought about this as we were talking just now, I think this gives them room to put more value in the packs, right?
Ye-
Could you put a
with
could
the
you put like a
with a
Marvel
step in
card?
between, yes.
Like
Well, there
let's
is a Marvel in there. We
okay,
know there's a Marvel in there. It's just
yeah.
whether or not it's a good Marvel.
Well, I guess my question is they could make it a good Marvel. A 1 in a million
They
Marvel
can
in these
they can
packs.
put a Marvel E-Strike in there if they
Sure.
wanted to. I don't think they should.
Or it's just a Marvel Majestic, but it only shows up in 1 in a billion packs, and there's gonna be 4
No.
opened in the United States over 2 months.
I
Um,
They could.
they
I
could.
wouldn't be the biggest fan of
I don't
that.
I don't think I would either,
Um, I
because that card would just have to inherently have weight to it considering its rarity. It's
Sure.
scarcity,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Yes.
So,
I don't know that I want anything out of these packs to be over $50.
that makes
Like,
sense.
I would be amazed if
You don't we
anything
don't
was scarce enough out of that to
mhm.
be more than $50, except maybe whatever the Marvel is,
We don't want them
depending
just
on what it
to
is.
be, like, weirdly, like, scalped or necessarily
I don't
sold online, or, I mean, I guess it's
I
probably
don't
fine
know
if
that
they're
I
sold
want the
online, but,
sealed packs to be worth a wild amount.
like a few dollars, like 2 bucks, like a dollar,
Uh, Maybe like 5,
like 5? Okay. I
because
don't
like, I
want
don't
them to be a
if
point where
they're
it's like
if
a
they're
point of
1 or 2,
contention, like, people are
yeah.
upset about things.
If they're 1 or 2, I think
Mhm.
there's nothing of value in those packs then.
Okay, that's fair.
If they're $50 packs,
Mhm.
they put too much in the
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Completely agree. If
this is
they're
something they can directly have a hand in because they can
mhm.
say what is in the packs, or they can indirectly have a hand in because they can say what's in the packs, they can't say what value we attach to those things.
They could also,
Um,
like, set the parameters I was talking about scarcity of certain
yes,
things or whatever, and
the Marvel can be 1 in 100 packs, or it can be 1 in 10,000 packs.
or it could be it would be I think it would be funny, and maybe it wouldn't be, but I think it'd be funny if it was, like, 1 in 10 packs, and so, like, at your armory, someone opens it, and it's like, "Ah, who gets it?" Someone's gonna
There's
get it.
Yeah, just like at each armory on average, the Marvel is pulled. I think that
Yeah,
would be a little
that would be funny. Maybe that's the
much.
cold foil?
That would
That
probably
makes
be
sense,
about the
right?
cold foil.
Yeah. If
One
it was
one in
like
8 for a cold foil wouldn't
yeah.
surprise me. 1 in 4 for a cold foil also wouldn't surprise me depending on what
Okay.
it is.
Oh my gosh, you imagine there's gonna be people on Bluesky that's like, we had a 6-person armory and everyone opened the cold foil. I'm sure
They've said
there's
explicitly that that's possible. It is not guaranteed 1 per whatever, or 1 per whatever.
like a
Like,
box
what
would have so many. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that
Okay.
like, oh,
They're not
out of
seated.
your 50
Mhm.
carton that you get, there is exactly 1 Marvel and 3 CNC, and so suddenly the first week somebody opens the Marvel and then your armory attendance
Everyone's like,
drops by half.
yeah. Or people are like, dude, I heard this armory hasn't opened one in 3 weeks. I'm going to
Yeah,
travel an hour to that armory to see if I can
yeah.
get one. Yeah,
No,
you don't want
they're
that. You
not
don't
gonna
want that
set up a
either.
system where you can do that. Um, no,
I'm
it
glad they've
wouldn't
thought
surprise me
about
if
that
it's like
stuff.
1 in 4 to 1 in 8, probably 1 in
Mhm.
6 for a cold foil or something, and then the Marvel is like 1 in 25 or 1 in 50.
That'd be kind of
But
nice.
like it wouldn't be surprising to have a carton that has 3 Marvels because of
Okay.
whatever. But
Yeah.
like I really think these packs, like, if they set things up right, you could sell them online if you worked for it for like $10 a piece and you had a bunch of them and you handed them off to a collector who's going to rip all of them because they can make the EV or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
I think
but
it's
like
kind of neat. I think
we need to see what's in the packs. Like this was the thing
mhm.
for this is 5th anniversary pack
Mhm.
all over again. We don't know what's in it. We need to figure out what's in it first before we figure out what everything is worth.
It also kind of reminds me
Like,
of oh, you just mean from the perspective we don't know what it is right now.
yeah,
This is 5th anniversary pack. We can't freak out over
yes,
it. Um
yeah,
what they kind of remind me of is they kind of remind me of the packs, the like basically promo packs you'd get at pre-releases where like
sort of.
sort of. You don't know what's in it. It's going to be cards that you can add into your deck or whatever for the
Yeah,
pre-release, and this doesn't function the same way. It doesn't fit all the boxes, but it does kind of fit that like thing that felt kind of cool the first time they did it. I forget which set it was that they did that. Was it Heavy Hitters? Was it
I
no? Was it
think it
Evo?
no, it was not
It
Brightlight.
wasn't Evo.
I
They
know
had pre-release
Mistveil
packs.
had rainbow foil equipment that you could then put
Mhm.
into your pool.
Was it Misfail?
Um, I don't know if Mistveil was the first. I know Mistveil had it though, because that
I
was also where you
remember
got the chakras,
I
the
remember we
red
got,
chakras.
gold cards. Not gold, but starting stake in heavy hitters
Yep. We got starting stake and probably one other thing that I'm not remembering
that
off
we're
the top of my
blanking
head.
on. I
We would
think
get a rainbow foil weapon. One of the rare weapons
was that
from
right?
heavy hitters, like mini meat axe or ball breaker or
Okay,
something you would get.
okay. So I think when that happened for the first time, and we were all like, "Oh, which one did you get? Which one did you get? Which one did you get?" I think that's gonna be the same kind of feeling, hopefully, with these gym packs, where it's just like, "Did you get the cold
At
foil?
first, yeah.
What'd you get? Did you get the cold foil? Oh, okay." Or
I mean,
maybe at least like week ones
sure. When we
of
don't know
this,
what the stuff is
or
yet, yeah.
yeah. Do you think we'll find out opening them, or they'll tell us?
I think it's gonna be like half and half.
We'll
Like I
know
think
some of it.
we won't know what the Marvel is. We'll know what
Mhm.
some of the cold foils are. We'll know what
Mhm.
most of the non foils are, or something like that. I don't know. We might see something like in the lead up to them being released that we know what some of it is. We know that it largely has to do with Hunted,
Mhm.
whether that's cards from Hunted or
Mhm.
reprints.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff they talked about with like the mini text boxes where it's like that full extended art.
Mhm. I love those.
Um,
Those are
they
the
look really
best.
good.
Those are
They look really
awesome.
good. So it's like it's stuff like that for hunted cards and for some old cards. So like it wouldn't surprise me if there was a Leave No Witnesses alt art or something was like a rainbow foil, like one of the rarer rainbow foils or like
Mhm.
a or the cold foil or
One
something
of the
in
premium
Leave No
foils. Yeah.
Witnesses. Yeah.
That'd be kinda cool.
Um that's possible. They're not going to put like a codex in there, I don't think, unless they
Yeah.
really want to bring the price of codex down to like nothing. Or they would still probably like bring it down. It would still probably be like 40 or $50, but like
Codex of Blood Rot.
yeah, they might put Codex of Bloodrot or Inertia in there with like
Inertia,
alt
yeah.
arts, but like I don't know. It we still have a lot to learn on that one.
Oh, but those already have
Um
Marvel, so that's definitely not gonna be Marvel of those.
yeah, I
It's interesting. I'm excited for these. Yeah, we'll go with that. We haven't talked about that too much. I'm excited for them. I think they're really interesting from a new player perspective. You go to your
yep.
armory at the end of it. They're like, "Here's your gym pack," and they're like, "Gym pack," and then they get to open this, and it's like, "Oh, frick!" You know?
You get a special booster pack for playing that you can't just buy off the shelf. Yeah,
Yeah, that's like
it's
super
neat.
cool. Um, And then other than that, I think, generally if, there's everyone if they're handed out in such a way to where everyone gets a pack for participating, and if there's leftovers in some form of fashion, the store probably hands them out based on yeah, what we said earlier, right? So either randomly or based on performance, which
Yep.
I think either is fine depending on the store. Um
Yeah.
I think they'll just feel good, and it'll be a different, more interesting way to handle promos, because currently
Yep.
my promos right now are in a box.
I mean, I think it's
They're
not
just in a
unlikely
thing.
for these promos aren't going to be any different.
I might keep one of these packs, like one of each of
Sure,
them.
you can just keep one of the packs sealed, and that's
Yeah.
neat. That's a really cool
Mhm.
thing. But like, what are these promo cards suddenly going to be different though? Like, what's going to put these cards in a deck for you that you're not
Uh,
like what
in a
separates these
hmm.
cards from the ones you're already getting?
At this point, I think it's the excitement of opening packs, because I don't do that very often. I don't open
Sure.
packs, and I
Like
think it
how many cards?
felt very incriminating when you said, Are you going to put these in decks?" And I, on principle, don't put foils in my decks.
Sure, but
But
there's
like,
also a non-foil in every pack.
oh yeah, I guess there is a non-foil, but like, you're right.
Like these are still just more promo cards.
Hmm.
That's not changing. It's
I
just
guess that
they're
is true.
changing the manner in which they're distributed,
Hmm.
which is fine. They are leaning this intentionally more towards casual with competitive that can kind of flex it, like, reasonably,
Hmm.
instead of the system they have now, which is competitive that can flex for casuals, because like I know a couple stores that raffle off the cold foils every week, and
Mhm.
they don't do it to the winner, to the 3-0 or whatever.
This is kind of
Um,
pushing stores in the direction to where
things are
it
inherently a little more random because
Mhm.
they are. You're opening the pack, and that's where
Yeah.
the store doesn't just give the cold foil to the winner. It's they give them 2 of these packs instead of 1, and then that's
Mhm.
just their extra chance, and they still just may not open a cold foil or anything special. So,
It's an interesting balance because I think you should always cater to the players that are already there and playing.
yes,
But
sure.
because of natural turnover, you have to have new players. So you need to also cater to new players, which want different things, right?
Yeah,
Um, and it's an interesting balance that you have to balance that you have to hit where it I don't know, it's difficult, and I think they've kind of like picked a lane by doing this, right? Like I
yeah.
feel like it was kind of up to the store and now they're just like, no, I think we think
They're
this is the
nudging
way.
stores in a certain
Mhm.
direction,
Yeah.
which is fine. Like
It's fine.
this is not my preferred. I would
Okay.
prefer like so like the armory kit that's going to come up in January
Mhm.
with the verdant stuff and like fruits of the forest is going to be a super desirable
Yum yum.
promo. Um, the Florian one where all the promos are like really desirable. All the like rainbow foil promos for the last like 4 months and the next month are great. All of them.
Which one
Discharge as
where
an
was it?
EA was great. Rootbound Carapace as an EA was great. Flittering Charges in EA was great. Count Your Blessings EA is great. And then Fruits of the Forest. And these are all your participation promos. So like the thing that's got to happen though
Mhm.
with these packs is your rainbow foils need to maintain the same quality and the same desirability.
Mhm.
Because this is the actual like issue.
Mhm.
Is because like you look at some like the past months, like all the Dust Till Dawn rainbow foils. Do you even remember what they were?
Yes, there's that one where the person's going like this and then there's like it's like an orange beam kind of thing. It's a light warrior card, and he's like doing the thing.
Blinding Beam?
I don't think that's it.
No, because that's Monarch. Do you
No,
mean Angelic Wrath?
resounding courage. There's like a
That's
guy, and he's like this, and then there's like this beam
that
going
was not a
by.
promo.
Oh, I thought it was.
Nope.
So no, my answer is no. I do not know what any of the Dust Till Dawn promos
So
were.
I know one of them, which is Angelic Wrath, which is the card that pumps heralds.
Oh, that's a good card.
Yeah, that's the only one that sees any play.
Is that the only one you remember?
No, so there was Break of Dawn,
Okay.
Hungering Demigon, and I
I shouldn't ask
assume
that question. I should have known. You have an encyclopedic memory of all the promos that we have
I
gotten.
assume there was one other shadow one that I'm forgetting at the moment.
Fair enough.
Oh, Phantom Banshee. There it
Oh,
is. But like
oh
these
man,
cards are not in high demand. You could go buy 100 of them for $2 probably.
probably.
Like
That makes sense. Yeah.
this is the question mark still is like are these things going to be desirable? Are people going to because people will very quickly with these decide if they enjoy opening them or not. And it's going to be is this like opening Mistveil or is it like opening Bright Lights?
The Phantom Banshee extended art rainbow promo LGS card is 45 cents
Oh, I assume somebody has a bulk bin of them somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah. But
Oh, frick.
like this is it's still ultimately going to come down to because like there will be nothing worse for a new player than them getting this pack and then an established player being like, yeah, there's nothing good in it this season.
Oh, actually, that does kind of. Mm.
And you're like, well, what do I do with it then? Like, you can just open it, I get. Like you open it, but like there's nothing of value in them this season.
I mean, hopefully, at the least, the Marvel
I assume the
is
Marvel will
value.
carry some value from scarcity, but like the Florian cold foil is already like $7. Arcane Seed's Life is already $7.
Hmm.
Rootbound
Hmm.
Carapace Red is still like $7,
True.
and there's like 20 times more of those than the Arcane Seeds, but
Hmm.
this is something they're going to have to do very carefully, and I trust them to do it and to know
I
what they're doing on it,
yeah, I
and
and
they
and they
they get a
learn.
little bit more freedom
Yeah.
with the cold foils and the marvels that they're
Hmm.
putting in. If they're doing reprints as well, that makes it much easier to judge value.
I I also think like yeah, let's say all the cards are like kind of meh
Yeah,
except the Marvel. That's still a reason to open the pack
there is
and to look
some amount of
look a bit of it.
value because the marvel will have some value. Like that is
Yeah.
what is. I'm trying to think of like a set that's
You're
honestly it's almost Mistveil.
yeah.
Mistveil's legendaries are so cheap, like ludicrously cheap. Guess how much Kasaya is? The
20
chess
bucks.
piece you were
30
just
bucks?
using in Zen.
30 bucks? 30 I'm going to guess $32
In
considering
rainbow
you said it was
foil,
cheap. Yeah.
that's the price for the EA cold foil.
Wait, what? Wait, really? Wait, what? Wait,
The
no,
rainbow
I
foil is the rainbow foil is $9.
what they put them in every pack? What the frick? What?
Dude, I,
Wait, no, that card's insane though.
yes, it is. And people are trying to trade like your regular EA rainbow foil participation promos for it.
I was going to try to look it up, but I don't know. Never mind. I couldn't look it up. Anyways, that's insane. Why
Yeah.
is it so cheap?
I don't know.
Sure.
The shoes that Enigma has,
Yeah.
Meridian Pathways, also
Mhm.
like $9
Huh.
in rainbow foil.
That's crazy.
It's like the legendaries in that set are super cheap.
Mhm.
The marvels are pretty good because like a full set of the common transcends in Marvel is about $300, which is
It's
like
interesting because
40.
they're
It's
common marvels too, by
yeah,
the way.
it's like $40 a card.
I mean, that's not bad, right? Like, let's
That's pretty
say
good.
if all those rates were in these packs, at the
Yeah,
least at the end of the armory, you're like, well, I'm gonna either get the meth foil, but I could get the Marvel, and then you just
yeah,
open the pack. And
yeah.
it's like even if
It's
it's at worst case, like what, like a 20% optimism, you're just like, okay, well, I'm probably not gonna get it, but maybe.
which part of that is also they get to mess with this a little bit
Hmm.
because they can they're putting reprints in.
Hmm.
So they get to like fix the value a little bit because they know what these cards are worth. So like if they were to reprint Blade Flurry in an EA rainbow foil
Oh my
with
gosh.
with a micro text box, that would just be a $25 card. That would be a 30 release weekend. That will be a
Mhm.
$50 card minimum in EA rainbow foil.
Blade Furry, good card.
They could.
Blade
Uh
Furry also a good example for me of like it's a $20 majestic, and that is just like if you look at it,
that's a $20 majestic.
it just reads I'm a $20 majestic, and I love
Yes.
that.
And it is a very reasonable like it is reasonable that is not more than $20 and it is reasonable that is not less than $20.
Yeah. I
Like,
want all majestics to be $20 majestics. That's not
mm,
true.
no, you don't.
No, I
I know
don't.
you.
I don't, but like part of me is just like, I don't know, something satisfying about saying $20
You have to
majestic.
trade 2 Kasayas for 1 Blade
That's so
Flurry.
silly. That's
Yeah.
so silly.
So yeah, 12 Petal Kasaya, lowest listing right now is $9.99 for Rainbow Foil. The EA Cold Foil is $29.83. Meridian Pathway is $8.70 for the rainbow foil. The cold foil is $22 right now. And Mask of Recurring Nightmares is currently... Oh, that's wrong because it's not there. $17 in rainbow foil
There was a part of me that
and
was
$70
mhm.
in EA cold foil.
There was a part of me that once said that you should grab any legendary that's under $10.
Yep.
Because I think there's a problem somewhere if the legendary is $10.
Most likely. There are
Most
some
likely.
where I will disagree with that,
Mm-hmm.
but like I bought a bunch of Vambraces at $8 when Enigma had already been announced,
It's so silly.
and it was
It's so
still
silly.
$8. And I'm like, they're not going to be $8
I goofed.
when
I
it
got it
comes
when
out.
they were $25.
Ah,
Oh well.
yeah. I don't know. The packs are interesting. We'll see what happens with them. We need to know more. Like
Mhm.
this is really like where the 5th anniversary pack stuff is, where it's like we don't know what's in it.
Yep.
We need to get more information, see everything, and then we can figure it out from there. Figure out exactly how many each store is getting.
That's
How
also
many stores
important.
are only getting 50 for every 2
Mm-hmm.
months, or 100 or 150 for every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can deal with that. And at the end of the day, this is between the store and its players, the way they handle this. That's it. Like that is what LSS has said, that they said on the dev talk that they wanted this to like be more participation based, but it's up to the stores. And that's fine. That's the way it is now. I know stores that raffle off their cold foils the same
Mm-hmm.
way that you would hand someone a random booster pack and they open the cold foil.
I feel like if depending on community size, um, the players could work with the LGS on
Yeah.
how everyone would feel best about this. And I'm sure,
Yep.
it'll turn out fine in the most parts. We're gonna see those Reddit posts that are like, my LGS has started charging $10 more for weekly armories because of these packs.
My LGS dropped pack per win booster packs on the $5 entry because of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, which like this literally just replaces all of the promos that were provided
We have a
by
very
LSS
yeah.
to the store. This should not change anything else your
No.
store is doing.
Yeah.
If it is, make it an issue with the store,
Yeah.
because
Or LSS.
that's not the point
Well,
of
probably
this.
the store.
With the store,
Yeah,
not
with
with
the store.
LSS,
LSS.
unless the store is bad about it.
Yeah. Um, I think another funny scenario could be there's a very competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene, and it's like in whatever area, because Yu-Gi-Oh does something different from what my minimal research, something very similar to these
Yeah,
packs in my very limited research. And it could be something like they do something where first place gets half of them, second and third gets the other half of them, and
yeah,
so they want to copy that for Flesh and Blood. But our Flesh and Blood scene just plays UPF all the time, and so it doesn't make as much sense. And I can
yeah.
see something like that silly happening, but I think ultimately I think it's an interesting and great direction that I don't feel like was 100% necessary, but does feel like quality of life improvement almost.
Yeah.
Um, and it's going to be better for some players than others based on uh how they view and work on the game. But I think in general it's gonna be well received. This is kind of cool. I think I don't know. There's a part of me that says I'm going to keep one of each of these packs, and then there's a part of me that knows that when I get my first one, it's going to be I'm going to have ripped it in half, taking it out of their hand, like not even like savoring the moment. I just want to know what's in it. So I don't know. I'm excited about
I
it.
think I might sit on, like, not open my first few and just like see what people are doing, like pulling out of them,
See if yeah.
and see if I could sell them sealed.
A
Just
part of yeah.
curious, because okay, I will
Mhm.
say this, and this is not the way it should be.
Okay.
I This part is fine, but
Sure.
this was last Saturday. I was at an LGS and they still had their Black Friday prices up, And so I
Okay.
got a case of Mist Veil at $60 a box,
Okay.
which is pretty good.
That's
Um,
really good.
yeah. I basically broke even on the case. I pulled really well. Mist Veil
Hmm.
prices are just fairly low. Um, and I also got a gold pack.
Oh, nice.
Uh, Gold packs are like 1 in 100 to 1,000 or something
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Marvel. Um, and the Marvel is like 3 to 4K.
Yes.
The rainbow foil is like $9.
Yeah. Healthy.
Gold packs sealed
50.
have been selling on eBay for 200.
200.
I didn't know that until after I'd opened it.
Oh.
But and I probably wouldn't. I might have tried to sell it for that or for like 150 or something.
So is holding on to
But
these gym
I don't
packs kind of like I'm upset
I'm
I opened my
wondering.
I'm upset I opened my gold pack, so now I'm gonna do
I
this
want
to
to see what
these.
happens if people are going to buy them for ridiculous prices.
Oh, I
Because
hope
I also
not.
don't think gold packs should be selling at 200. There's no way that that is correct
No, no,
for
no, no.
people to be buying them at 200 if they're
Mm-mm.
playing EV.
Yeah.
Um, if they were selling for 50,
I,
maybe.
I'm
Sure.
really into a different kind of investment where I keep thinking about myself as a 60-year-old man, having played Flesh and Blood for the last 40 years. And 30 years. Oh, I'm 30. Jeez.
Oh
Um
shit.
70-year-old man who
Yeah.
been playing Flesh and Blood for 40 years and 45 years. Yeah, because I've been playing for 5 years. I'm 30 now. Anyways, and I'm just like, oh wow, you know what? I have one of each gym pack.
I still have this thing back here.
Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
this thing back here, and then the investment is I get to open it uh
Yeah.
later. Or gym pack one are $300, $3,000 at that point, Um
I mean, the people who went to Celebrational, like the 15 people who were invited, they got one of each booster pack up to that point.
each?
Yeah.
Each?
Yeah. So Mara came back with an alpha booster,
Oh my
a first ed
gosh.
arc, first ed crew,
Oh,
first ed tails,
oh.
first ed monarch,
You
one of
couldn't pay
each.
you couldn't pay me to open it. Actually, you
No,
could. You'd pay me to take it off my hands so you could open it because
you
like
would pay me
yeah.
if I had been given that, you would
Mhm.
probably have to pay me double because those otherwise would be framed on my wall.
That's insane.
Like specifically that, like not necessarily because I went and collected like one of each, which like
Mhm.
I might do anyways at some point because that's kind of cool
That is
and
kind
not
of
as
dope.
expensive as a box, but also like you could frame that and put it up on your wall and that
Yeah.
would be cool.
Huh.
Um, but like no, you if I got the set from Celebrational, you'd have to pay me double
Mhm.
like what their
That's
street value is.
insane.
But like no, that would be neat.
Yeah.
And I might keep the first one and like never open it, and I might keep the first 4 from my first weekend or the first 3 from my first weekend and hold on to them and see what happens. Because also Judge Pack season 1 is like $600 now.
With every time LSS does a new thing, I keep telling myself I'll get one of that
Hold on to the first
and
one.
hold on to the first one, and then I
Yeah,
never do it.
they're gonna hand you this one.
I might do it. Maybe I hold
Yeah.
on to 2 of them. Maybe I open 2 of them and I hold on to 2. Well, we're having them for 2 months. Let's say I get one every week.
4.
4 months?
Wave 1 is the first 2 months.
Oh. So
We get 4 months of this season.
Gym Pack 1
Season 1.
is going to be 4 months.
4 months of armories.
Oh, I interpreted that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get
Interesting.
like 30 of them.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So holding on to 2, one for me to open and one for me to sell when I'm 70 is funny.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
fine.
And then I sell one and they post a video of them opening it, and then that's the one with the Marvel, and I open the one with the
No, you hold on to the one
rare.
and you don't open the one with the rare then because it is strictly worth more sealed.
Frick.
No, we need more info. This is something they literally put out today.
Good about it.
I am willing to trust them, and they already, because they're doing reprints, they have a lot more control over value for it. So I'm it is not exactly my ideal, but I trust them.
Yep. Well, I
So,
think that about does it. About wraps
plenty.
it up. Kevin, you have any shout outs?
Besides the merch store, go watch Calling Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Starts in just over 22 hours.
Okay,
So
cool.
the time we started tonight is
That's
the time that Calling starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
I could stay up and watch the first game and then fall asleep.
Yeah,
Which is probably what I'm gonna
I'll
do.
be at Armory for the first round or round and a half, and then I'll
Yeah.
grab Cookout on the way home and watch some more.
Yeah.
So watch that, and then Calling Chicago next weekend.
They're gonna announce
We're gonna get cards.
we're gonna get cards. We're gonna get
Katsu.
freaking I can't think of the word. It starts with an E. Expansion slot. Jinx. So we're gonna get expansion slot cards, which is kind of weirdly exciting. I don't remember if they did that for the last set. Not to tangent again, but did they? Okay.
This is the same timing roughly as expansion slot for the last set.
We're gonna get Betsy's weapon. We're not gonna get Betsy's weapon. They already announced one of the cards is gonna be a guardian, and they did not imply it was gonna be Betsy's weapon.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually just not showing up in the set. Oh well, with that terrible disappointment, thank you so much for watching. We're going to have live UPF at the end of the month. I think it's the 28th. And I'm going to have a video coming out where I solve the issue of shuffling decks for people who have problems shuffling decks. Like if you have really small hands, or if you're using DM Armada's sleeves.
6-sleeve deck.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to build a contraption to help shuffling decks make it easier. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.